Hello everyone, it's Captain Polka Dot 17 here. So anyway, in this video is going to be something a little bit different than what I usually do. As you can see by the title, this story is called Out of a Silent Prison. Now this story is not, please read the picture on the screen, this story is not based on real life events, but it is based on a true Minecraft story. So this story is one of my favorites, one of the best ones that I'd like to tell. So I advise you to pause the video, grab a bowl of popcorn, and just relax and listen to a really interesting story. So this story is going to be about, well, I'm not going to give you his name, but we're just going to call this character Matt. And as you can assume, Matt somehow ended up in prison. I have a bottle of water here with me, so if you hear me pause for a moment, I'm just getting a drink. But anyway, Matt was a Minecraft character, which was actually played by one of my friends. So, one day, Matt ended up in prison. But it didn't start out that way. It started out as a nice, clear, crisp, sunny day. And he was simply walking along the road, minding his own business, when suddenly he was tricked by a guard that led him to jail. Now the particular jail that Matt was led to was called the Iron Palace, which, trust me, wasn't exactly a palace. The reason why it was called that was because it was so big, every prisoner felt as though they were in solitary confinement. As all the prisoners, prisoners rarely saw each other, as it was some of the worst, one of the worst Minecraft prisons that you could ever be in. And each prisoner was assigned a guard to take special care of him. So anyway, there were 4 characters in this Minecraft story. Matt, who is our main character and also our prisoner. There's the guard, the spy, and the warrior. So these characters are going to come in handy throughout the rest of the story. So anyway, Matt started out at the very bottom, and there was 20 career ranks, 1 through 20. Each time that he did something good, such as good behavior, or accomplished something, did chores, he would advance a career rank, such as 1, he would move to the next career rank 2, and so on. And every time he moved up a career rank, he would also get rewarded for it. He would get a reward, a prize, something special. It might be an axe, a golden apple, a piece of bread. But the prizes got better and better the higher up his career rank was. When he started out at the very bottom, moving from 1 to 2, he got very small prizes. And prizes that were completely useless at first, such as an arrow. I mean, an arrow is useless without a bow, right? So he got very small prizes. And each career rank was harder and harder to move up. As career rank 1 to 2 was much easier than 2 to 3, and so on. By the time he got to career rank 5 or 6, it was getting pretty difficult to move up in career ranks. But also, with more career ranks came more freedom, as he was allowed to have a larger and larger cell. As the cells there didn't actually have to be built larger and larger, but as he was confined in a small space, and each time that he was moving up a career rank, a little bit of the wall would get moved back, and a little more, and a little more, and a little more. So eventually, he got a pretty good sized cell. In fact, he got a 2-story cell pretty soon. Because, Matt actually had pretty good behavior here. But then the guards started getting really cruel as he started allowing and spawning monsters inside the cell, such as creepers, skeletons, zombies, and the amount of monsters got more and more and more, every single time. But then a deal sort of came up. The more monsters Matt could fight, the greater chance he would be promoted up a rank. And remember, the higher the rank, the better privileges, And once he got to rank 20, he would be freely allowed throughout the entire prison without any guard or boundaries, but he could not leave. So around this time, days had gone by, and Matt, he was started at the bottom, but now he'd been working his way. He wasn't even close to halfway, but he was, better off than what he was before, certainly. He had gotten more privileges. He was allowed to the shower area, and he was also allowed to have his own pet. So anyway, he was doing pretty good. And eventually, he was even allowed to have his own bunker. Now that, my friends, is where the problem really began. Matt had had such good behavior, but unfortunately that bunker, that really, really messed up his character right there. The bunker really just messed it up. Unfortunately, the bunker had a small glass window that could be opened. Simple. With a push of a lever, it could be opened. Of course, not enough for him to get out. But what exactly happened? So that's where we bring our third character into the story. Our spy. Now, our spy was from Australia. Just to give you a clue about that. So what ended up happening? The spy, the Australian spy, he disguised himself as a sheep. Yes, he actually did do that. And he was able to give Matt his phone number so they could communicate, and he could help get Matt out of prison. As Matt was originally, he was innocent. He was not, he did not do anything wrong. He was tricked by a guard. So, this actually wasn't too terrible of a thing. He wasn't, a terrible person or anything. But that really worked. He was able to pass, exchange his phone number through that glass window in the bunker. And he was able to give him his phone number and a set of instructions on how to bribe the guards. So anyway, what he ended up doing is every time that he would be awarded a privilege, he would always choose a phone call to Australia. Now that was actually quite interesting. Because, the guards did not suspect anything. They didn't suspect any evidence of, trickery or bribery. None of that. So he was able to communicate to his Australian friend, the spy. And the spy was willing for 20 diamonds. He was willing to get him out. So Matt had another problem there. What? How is he going to get diamonds? Well, that right there is where his prison life nearly ended. So yeah, he decided, of course, okay, we're gonna get 20 diamonds and he's gonna get out of here. Easy, right? Well, not so easy. He decided to get a diamond for every career rank he moved up. Matt also fought long battles with other prisoners to get their diamonds. But there was a price to pay as well. Diamonds meant stronger tools, and stronger tools meant a better chance of escape. So all of Matt's wood and all of his sticks and all of his weapons were taken away from him Well, not exactly taken away, I should say, but exchanged for his diamonds, him being allowed to have those diamonds in his cell. Of course, it was a fair trade, as he thought he would simply get out of here. He'd get out, right? Well, that nearly happened. Actually, it did happen, but you'll have to hear that story. I'm not going to tell it, I'm not going to skip to the ending. So anyway, he was doing pretty good. But he had made a mistake. Without tools and without weapons, he could no longer fight his battles. As there were lots of the amount of monsters kept increasing. That was that wasn't ever going to go away. And many times his life was nearly taken by one of those monsters. Creepers, they blow up. Skeletons, they shoot arrows. Zombie pigmen are hard to fight. That can't be fun when you don't have a diamond sword, a gold sword. That can't be easy. But all in all through all his hard times, he was actually able to stay alive. But he cheated. He smuggled weapons. The Australian would come down once every couple of months with, a sack full of weapons, pass him through that glass window, and Matt would have his weapons as he was able to fight. He kept this a secret from the guards. All this was a secret. The guards never found out any of this. This was all a secret, which proved he was a genius, of course. He had all of his weapons there. Seemed like he was doing all right. But then the guards started noticing, how could he be able to stay alive with all these monsters? This isn't Minecraft-like. You die easily in Minecraft, especially in normal mode. Not easy. So that's where we bring our fourth character into the mix. Our warrior. This right here was probably Matt's darkest time, as they sent a warrior. They had a battle arena in the prison, and the consequence would be having to fight a warrior, and the punishment for that would be death, if you didn't win. So Matt was having a hard time. They dragged him down to that battle arena, and he had to fight a warrior. He barely won. And month after month, without any tools, he was able to fight that warrior. But how did he do it? Again, smuggle. The Australian spy was able to smuggle several pieces of armor that had special enchantments that allowed him to stay alive. Now the guards realized there's something, very special about this guy. He's different than most of the prisoners that we've had here. And they never caught on that he was, the way he was. They never caught on about any of that. But anyway, that's where he made the biggest mistake of his entire prison life, right here. The Australian spy was able to have a visit with him through the jail. As a pickaxe was too big to fit through that glass window. That was, pickaxes were not allowed because you could use those to break out. So the Australian spy was able to smuggle a pickaxe into the cell and get it to Matt. There, right there, he should not have done that. Because this was about to, this was about to make his entire life much worse. Well, the outcome of it anyway. Now, Matt was at career rank 14. So he was close to the top now. By this time he was close to the top. So he decided he was going to wait until he got to career rank 15 before he planned his move. Why is that? Well, career rank 14 was the last rank before you got to career rank 15, obviously. But career rank 15 was the rank where you got allowed into the basketball court. Cool, right? Well, I guess. But for Matt, that actually helped his escape. As you know, you see, this guy was a genius. So anyway, what are basketball nets made out of? String. Aha. That is where he really got an idea. He needed some string. Rope. For a few reasons. And he also took that concrete paneling off the basketball court. You know, he smuggled that into his prison. Now, the one good thing about his prison cell is that it was 2 stories. The bottom story was halfway underground. But the top story, you know, that was a really tall story. So, that's where he was able to break free from. So how do you do that? How do you do that? The roof, you know, that had iron bars all the way around it. How's he going to get out of there? Well, he's a genius, so, you know, he's obviously going to figure it out. He was able to use that concrete paneling to block himself in to the second story. So when they came looking for him, he'd have, you know, a few extra seconds to get out of there. So that's where he used a string to tie the door. But the string also came in handy in another way as well. He was also able to use vines from his outdoor garden area as a way of getting down. So anyway, what he did is he was able to use the string to make a trap. So as soon as he got up to the top, you know, he basically built room inside the second, floor of the second story of his prison cell. And it all happened in like 5 minutes. You know what? 2 minutes. And this guy was so quick. The Australian spy agreed to meet him on the outside world and take him back to Australia. But there was a catch. This prison was fenced in, so they'd have to tunnel their way out. So now, this is where Matt's good luck started to get better. He was able to successfully break a hole in the roof of his prison and escape. But it took a lot more than that. He also had to find a secret passageway inside the prison that secretly led out that they put there for the guards, just in case there was, a prison break. So he was able to do that, and he was able to, get by without a guard spotting him. So now, he was able to get out of that whole prison area. But by this time, by the time it took him to plan out all this, he was already at rank 19. He only needed to advance one more rank before he got access to the entire prison. But even at rank 20, he would have never been allowed out. So I guess, he was better off doing what he did. But once he got out of there, he and the Australian spy, that's where they made the biggest mistake. The Australian spy should have pre-dug the tunnel and planned it out better. One of them should have. Because never in a million years would they have ever expected to start digging where they were digging out of. Now, like all prisons, they have a watchtower. Where they have a guard or someone watch the prison. Well, they happened to dig their tunnel right where the watchtower was. As their shovels went up hitting the roof, and they realized, hey, this is all made of iron. So they decided to slowly dig around it. But the guard on the watchtower saw them. He saw them digging around. He saw them digging around in the watchtower. He saw them. And immediately he alerted several of the other guards. And Matt was captured. He was captured! He was captured! And unfortunately for Matt, it'd taken years for him to get up to career rank 19. And he was brought all the way down to career rank 0, which was a special rank only given to prisoners that were caught escaping. They were not allowed to have weapons. They were not allowed to see any other prisoners. They were never allowed to go to the cafeteria or the basketball court or outside. They were locked in the solitary confinement area. And that's where they were kept. They got no privileges. They didn't get anything. Nothing. At all. And that's where Matt spent his final days. In that quiet, dark cell. And that's why this story is called Out of a Silent Prison. Thank you for listening. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, watch more videos, and if you have not clicked that subscriber button, please go click it now. And if you have listened to this entire story, I have reached over 200 subscribers, so get ready for a 200 sub special really soon, probably tomorrow. Thank you for listening.